This Walrus pedal is really cool. Tusk me, I'm an expert.
Have you ever looked at all the gear musicians use and wonder, how does it all work? My name's Dustin, and my family and I are setting out on a quest to inspire both adult and kid musicians to create new sounds together and learn all about what it takes to produce great music. We'd like to invite you along on the journey as we explore the gear professional studios, musicians, and hobbyists use to create their art. We'll take a close-up look at the gear and ask,
What's this button do?
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of What's This Button Do? I'm your host, Dustin, and this week we're going to be continuing our look at the Walrus Fundamental series, and we're going to be taking a look at some of their drive pedals. More importantly, we're going to be taking the new Distortion as well as the Fundamental Overdrive, comparing them, showing you all the features and benefits of it, and flipping through the settings and just letting you hear some different ideas, just like we have in our previous episodes. If you have not seen the last couple of weeks' episodes, we've been doing a deep dive on these pedals. We started with some of the modulation pedals, moved into the reverb and delay pedals last week, and then this week we're doing the drive, and then next week we're doing a little special final episode. So please go back and look at the other episodes if you haven't seen it already. For those that have, we're not going to spend a lot of time doing a lot of intro here. We're just going to dive right into it. We're going to go over to the pedal board. I'm going to plug the Distortion and Overdrive in. We'll walk you through it and let you hear some of the sounds. So please join me over there. All right, so here's how we're going to start off. We're going to be using our Rock and Roll Relics Heartbreaker guitar. We're going to be mostly rolling in the bridge pickup. This is our clean tone. Cool. All right, and I think we'll start off with the Fundamental Drive. So the Fundamental Drive, this is kind of their overdrive pedal. You've got three settings: smooth, crunch, and bright. We're going to start with smooth, and we'll just see what that sounds like. So when I engage it, hear a little bit of gain versus nothing. So it's a little quiet at neutral settings. Let's turn up the volume a little. All right, I dig that. Let's turn the gain all the way down and just see what we got. Versus not on. Yeah, I dig that. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see. What if we max out the gain? Okay, instantly the thing that catches me there is it's not fully distorting. It's a good clean, you're getting a lot of that clean element in the drive itself, but it's still distorting really well, kind of pushing the amps into that breakup. Now what if we take the tone all the way up? So pretty standard tone control. We have the gain all the way down, tone all the way up. Let's turn the gain up like a quarter. That's a fun drive sound. Okay, let's take it to crunch. So we're going to leave it in those same settings. Back to smooth. Back to crunch. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's take the volume down just a little bit and bring the gain up. All right, gain all the way up, tone all the way up, volume all the way up. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's take the volume down just a little bit and take the gain down to about right about the middle. I like it. It's good overdrive sound. All right, so with the bright, what this is doing is taking that crunch setting and adding a little bit more low end, kind of pre-clipping the low end, really, I guess I should say, and it gives you this brighter sound versus, see how it's rounding out that low end and just really accentuating the brights. Reminds me of a Vox when you've got it kind of turned up a lot and really pushing it. Let's max it out. Yeah, this seems to work really well if you're trying to push that, like really push a distortion, but still not lose the trebly function. You really, with that setting, I think, with that bright setting, I think you need to have the tone down just a little bit. Bring your volume and your gain up, but bring the tone back down. Otherwise, you can get a little shrill and ice picky kind of sounding. Which, if you're needing to cut through a mix, I could see that. But for just standard usage, I think that'd be a little hot. I kind of like this one better with that little lower gain. Kind of a steel string singer kind of overdrive. I dig that a lot. Yeah, no, I can totally get behind that. All right, now let's try out the distortion pedal. I have tuned the guitar down to drop D just to give us a little bit heavier riffage so we can really hear what that distortion's doing. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I am not a huge distortion pedal fan. I usually prefer to get my distortion out of a drive, out of an amplifier, either by using overdrive, pushing the amplifier up, or adding a little bit of fuzz in to get it to distort a little bit more. I've never found a distortion pedal that absolutely blew me away. I've got a few that I like, but I still haven't found that ultimate perfect distortion pedal that does everything right. So this will be really interesting to see how this works out. We're going to start in the dark mode, and let's see what we've got here. Ooh. Okay, let's bring the volume up a little bit. Yeah. All right, let's bring the tone up and see if we can get a little chug in there. Bring the gain all the way up. At the full gain setting, it gets a little muffly. Okay, now let's do the SI mode, and let's check this out. We're going to turn it on, see where we're at. That's not bad. Let's, a little more volume. For some reason, I really like the treble being up higher, I think, on a good distortion to really accentuate those chugs. Let's keep the gain down a little bit and just kind of rock it right there and see what happens. I dig that. If we max out the gain, Okay, there it starts to get a little bit more murky as we bring the gain up. You start to get like almost a fuzzier sound. Yeah, I think I prefer it with that gain a little bit lower, the treble high and the volume a little higher. Now let's take it to the LED mode. The LED mode is going to introduce the LED clipping, which should boost the volume level here. But let's see what that does to the tone. That'll be really interesting. I'm going to leave the settings alone. We're just going to switch over to the LED mode and see what that sounds like. Back to SI. Substantial volume change. So right off the bat, the LED mode thickens it up. You can definitely hear it, distorts it a little bit more, thickens it up, creates a much more mushy sound, if you will. But it is boosting that level of volume back up there. Let's increase the gain and see what we hear. Oh man, on that heavier gain right there, it really mushes it up and really gets it kind of gnarly. Let's take the gain down a little bit. Try a little different riff. Super thick and chunky, especially compared to the SI if we do that same thing. Super interesting. I gotta say, I think I like the SI mode the best. It's got the clearer tones to it. If you're a doom metal player, if you're a sludge metal player, and you like that thicker, creamier distortion tone, I'm sure those other two modes would work for you. Just not my personal style. I think I would probably live right in these settings right here. I'm curious to try one more thing. I'm going to take this back to the smooth mode, and let's try combining the two with that fundamental drive. I'll turn the volume way down here, and we'll just kind of introduce it slowly. Okay, that's pretty cool, but let's try one more experiment. Let's take it back to the LED mode, and then let's take it to the bright mode, because the brightness is what we were missing there. Let's see what happens there and see what that does for the drive. Pretty wild. So what's the verdict this week? Let me tell you, I'm biased on this one. You guys know, we talked about this earlier in the distortion talk. I'm not a gigantic distortion pedal fan, This distortion pedal, it's good, but really it's of the 3 settings, one of them is the one that I really like the clarity on it. The other 2 are definitely muddier, fuzzier. They're good, but they're not like mind-blowingly good. On the overdrive, I think all 3 settings offer you some really good sounds. I definitely would tend, depending on what I was pairing them with, I like the mid position and the bright position. They really were great, but they all have different uses, and it would really depend on the amp that you're playing them into is really going to change. But what I like about this for a touring pedal, especially if you don't carry an amp with you and you're using a backline somewhere, it is a very versatile overdrive to be able to click through. So I could see it working in those situations very, very well. But neither of these pedals blew my mind. Not saying that they're bad, don't get me wrong, but I think the other 6 pedals in the fundamental line were so good and so amazing and sounded so crisp and clear that I didn't get the like, oh my gosh, wow factor from these 2 pedals as I did the other 6 in the line. But again, by no means bad. These are $99 pedals. I'm not expected to be blown away and replace a whole bunch of stuff on my board. So for 99 bucks, I think they're a fantastic value, but it's not like I'm not jumping to drop a $300 pedal off my board to replace it with this. They're good. They're not mind-blowingly good. But that brings me to next week's episode. So next week, I'm going to be revealing my 2 favorite pedals from the Fundamental series, and one of which I think I'm going to show you some comparisons to some other pedals and really talk about how I think it's probably the best bang for your buck pedal in existence. I'm so blown away by it. We'll talk more about that next week, and I'll show you more information on that. So please join us next week. We'll be looking at those then. I want to thank my friends at Palen again for really helping me out with this. I didn't have all these pedals, so I've been borrowing them from their shop in Overland Park, and it's been so gracious of the guys to let me do that so I could shoot this video. Now I've made my list of what I'm going to order for myself. So I'll reveal that next week and let you know what I'm going to be adding to the board permanently, because there are a few of these that I just had to pick up, even given the stuff I already have here in the studio. So we'll talk about that next week. Please come back and join us. In the meantime, please visit our friends at Palen at their website below. Also, if you get a chance, please follow me on Instagram at What's This Button Do Dustin. I'm on there all the time posting up pictures of stuff, and I'll be shooting some short demos. We've got a new set of LSL pedals on the way that I'm going to be shooting some individual demos for and posting some short videos on Instagram. So look for those in the next couple of weeks. Well, we look forward to seeing you guys next week. It's going to be a good episode. Please join us back here. I can't wait to share my findings and reveal my favorite of all the fundamental pedals. So I'll see you back here next week. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this week. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.